The esteemed Xenobiological Research Institute took pride in three distinct aspects: its flawless chrome architecture that radiated an air of superiority, its vast repository of classified species data from across the galaxy, and its unwavering belief in its own intellectual dominance. Today, however, that conviction faced an unexpected challenge, posed by nothing more than a furry quadruped from a remote, unremarkable planet called Earth. Processing final analysis of specimen classification, Canis lupus, the central AI system announced, its tone laced with a kind of condescension only achievable through centuries of programming by excessively self-important scientists. The assembled researchers, a collection of beings seemingly designed by a committee with conflicting opinions on fundamental anatomy, leaned forward in anticipation. Their various sensory organs, some conventional, others distinctly alien, locked onto the holographic display at the center of the room. Based on an extensive evaluation of predatory prowess, pack dynamics, and threat assessment metrics, the AI continued, Earth's wolf species has been categorized as a Class D predator. A ripple of amusement swept through the chamber, causing several tentacle-like appendages to quiver in what passed for laughter among certain species. One researcher, whose crystalline head featured an excessive number of sharp angles, emitted a high-pitched chime of derision. Class D, the lead researcher, a towering figure covered in iridescent scales, boasting far too many academic accolades, remarked with evident satisfaction, tapping their data pad. Precisely as we anticipated. Barely above the classification, we assigned to those amusing little creatures that chase light spots on walls. The hologram shifted, displaying various recordings of wolves in their natural habitat. The footage had been collected over months of what the researchers deemed rigorous observation, though their drones had mostly been stationed in accessible locations and only during convenient working hours. Observe their primitive hunting strategies, another researcher scoffed, their four eyes blinking in sequential disapproval. They lack even the most basic gravitational manipulation in their pursuit techniques, and their neural architecture is positively prehistoric. The presentation continued, depicting wolves hunting in packs, raising their young and howling at their moon. Each behavior was meticulously categorized, labeled, and dismissed as quaintly primitive by the so-called experts. Not one of them noticed how the wolves in the footage consistently seemed to be looking directly at the supposedly concealed cameras. Most telling of all, the lead researcher went on, displaying a new dataset, is their complete lack of response to our standard intelligence assessment protocols. We broadcast Class C cognitive stimuli across their territories for 3 full lunar cycles. Not a single wolf displayed recognition of the quantum puzzles embedded in the signal. What the researchers failed to observe was that, during those 3 months, wolf packs across the globe had systematically dismantled 17 of their hidden quantum transmitters, repurposing components to construct an improvised network of their own. They had also solved the puzzles, but saw no reason to notify the condescending extraterrestrials of this fact. Their only noteworthy trait, a junior researcher added, eager to contribute, is their pack mentality. But even that is limited to small familial groups with rudimentary hierarchical structures, nothing comparable to the hive minds of Proxima Centauri apex predators or the quantum entangled consciousness of the Sirius hunting swarms. Meanwhile, the wolves had already established a vast, continent-spanning communication network, using a blend of howls, scent markers, and repurposed alien technology. They had even begun sharing their techniques with other Earth predators, though they deliberately kept the bears on a need-to-know basis, as bears, quite frankly, couldn't keep a secret to save their lives. I moved to finalize the Class D classification, the lead researcher declared, adjusting their ceremonial robes in a manner that suggested they had rehearsed the gesture before a mirror. The vote was unanimous, recorded in the Institute's grand database with the bureaucratic flourish of a decision deemed irrevocable. The researchers congratulated themselves on yet another successful classification, embellished their report with additional technical jargon to sound more impressive, and shifted their focus to the next project. As the meeting adjourned, the AI system logged a minor anomaly. All external facility cameras had simultaneously rotated 45 degrees to the left, seemingly of their own accord. The incident was recorded as a minor technical glitch and promptly dismissed. Outside the facility, Silhouetted against the setting sun, a lone wolf sat atop a hill. To the researchers, it would have appeared to be simply enjoying the view. In reality, its tail was positioned to transmit data in a modified binary code to 3 other packs within visual range. The message was simple: Phase 1 complete. They took the bait. Initiate Phase 2. The wolf's ears twitched slightly, picking up the distant hum of the researchers' transport vehicles departing. Its eyes, far more sophisticated than any alien scan had detected, tracked the movements of security drones. Everything was proceeding according to the plan that had been in motion since the first alien probe had landed on Earth. In the coming weeks, the Xenobiological Research Institute would learn several humbling lessons. Never judge a species by its apparent technological level. Never mistake the absence of advanced tools for a lack of understanding. And most importantly, always verify that your research subjects are not the ones actually conducting the experiment. But for now, the wolves were content to let the aliens bask in their perceived superiority. After all, the best pranks required patience, and wolves had mastered patience long before humans even invented writing. The galaxy wasn't ready for the truth about Earth's canines. Oh, but they would be. In the Institute's database, beneath the newly finalized Class D classification for Canis lupus, a small subroutine activated, unnoticed by all. It quietly began correcting its own classification protocols. The wolves hadn't hacked it. They had simply convinced it that science functioned best with a sense of humor. As the sun dipped below the horizon, another successful day of interspecies miscommunication concluded. Somewhere in the encroaching darkness, a wolf howled. To alien ears, it might have sounded mournful, but to those who truly understood, it barely concealed its laughter. The tour concluded successfully, with only minor technical issues reported. The wolves had behaved exactly as expected. As the ship disappeared into the clouds, the wolves exchanged knowing glances. If anyone had been sophisticated enough to interpret canine expressions correctly, one wolf picked up the quantum camouflage generator they had borrowed, made a few final adjustments, and prepared to return it. After all, tomorrow's tour group would need it, and the wolves firmly believed in recycling. Somewhere deep in the forest, a single howl echoed through the trees. To alien ears, it registered as a simple animal call. To the wolves, however, it was a punchline to a joke months in the making, and it had been absolutely worth the wait. The Xenobiological Research Institute's emergency meeting was going about as well as one might expect when a group of self-proclaimed intellectual superiors suddenly discovered they had been outsmarted by creatures they had classified as sophisticated squeak toys. In other words, it was not going well at all. Impossible! Thundered the chief researcher, their crystalline appendages vibrating with indignation. Our equipment must be malfunctioning. There is simply no way that Class D predators could have. They trailed off, staring at their data pad in stunned silence. Displayed on the screen was a rather unflattering caricature of themselves, drawn entirely in binary code. The evidence was becoming harder to ignore. Across the globe, wolf packs were demonstrating abilities far beyond their supposed classification. Monitoring stations, carefully placed to observe them, were being systematically dismantled, studied, and then reassembled with improvements. Perhaps, suggested a junior researcher whose career prospects were already low enough to risk stating the obvious, we should consider the possibility that they've been studying us all along. The room erupted into a cacophony of dismissive noises, ranging from haughty sniffs to quantum-level scoffs. But the denial was interrupted by new footage from their latest observation post. The holographic display flickered to life, showing a pack of wolves gathered around what remained an advanced sensor array. One wolf was using a stick to draw surprisingly accurate circuit diagrams in the dirt. Another demonstrated how to bypass quantum encryption, using nothing but teeth and carefully applied static electricity. They could be mimicking observed behaviors, someone suggested weakly. That theory was immediately challenged by footage of wolves in different parts of the world simultaneously developing identical technological advancements, despite having no direct contact with one another. The wolves had moved beyond simply messing with alien equipment. They were now conducting their own research. Some packs had even submitted peer-reviewed papers to prestigious journals under pseudonyms. 3 had already been nominated for awards. Look at this. A researcher pointed to a new data stream. They're teaching other Earth predators. There's footage of a wolf explaining subspace mathematics to a mountain lion. Indeed, the wolves had begun selectively sharing their knowledge. Big cats grasped quantum mechanics quickly but proved unreliable with encryption codes, often using them for elaborate practical jokes. Bears showed surprising aptitude for theoretical physics, but had a habit of trying to eat experimental apparatus. The Institute's AI system, which had been quietly updating its protocols based on actual wolf behavior rather than researcher assumptions, chose this moment to announce: analysis complete. Previous classification appears to have been fundamentally flawed.